mic on? Everybody hear me? My name is Dale Bernhardt. I'm against the gambling facility. All here received my two-page handout showing the Facebook post by Mr. Heisey and Mr. Vorva. For all watching on video and TV, Mr. Heisey's posts talk about Plymouth full of drunk zombies staggering down from the horse track. Mr. Vorva posts that alcohol was flowing in Plymouth like he's never seen, and no question many folks were driving through Plymouth Township after consuming. And oh my goodness, the gambling. And the hordes are going to gather at the next commission meeting and complain about the unsafe conditions. So these posts are either to make fun of the gambling facility opposition, which is us, or they have no issue with drunk zombies. So which one is it? Neither shows any maturity. But these posts did hit a nerve with me. In May of 1984, my friends were driving north on Sheldon Road, came to the intersection of Ann Arbor Trail, were broadsided by a drunk 8 o'clock in the evening. He had just come out of a bar, and he killed Rick and Cindy, and killed her baby boy. She was 9 months pregnant, she was due in 5 days. 2 days later, her friend Josephine, who was also 9 months, lost her baby due to the tragic accident. My wife then had to go in for an emergency C-section 2 days later to save my son, all because of this accident. Mr. Vorva, you may remember that as he walked out, because he was a police officer during that in 1984. So that drunk killed 4 people and forever changed the lives of hundreds. So yes, we are justifiably concerned about addicted drunks and gamblers who you support and will be on our streets every day from your gambling facility. Our community realizes the consequences of your bad decisions. We see the truth. You only see dollar signs and campaign contributions like Mr. Heisey has received from Northville Downs. This pet project of Mr. Heisey's only produces addicts, nothing more. So how many drunk drivers are enough? How many gambling addicts are enough? When it hits your families? So we will continue to show up here with facts and logic, and you'll continue to dismiss us. But the people now realize that with Mr. Heisey, Mr. Vorva, there is no people are priority, and there is no health, safety, and welfare for us. Nice slogans they point to, but they don't carry out. The Bible says, don't give the devil any foothold. Do we want to sponsor addictions that are footholds by allowing this gambling house to be built? I urge the board to throw this destructive proposal out right now, or at least vote no at vote time. Okay, thank you very much.
I have something to say. Hey, Dale, would you please come up here? And I want you to pass this picture around. And I'm going to tell everybody what this picture is. The accident that he talked about didn't happen at 8 o'clock. It happened later at night. I was there. I was the first officer on scene. The husband was pulled from the car because the truck the person was driving had a rack on the front of his truck for a snowplow, and it hit him in the head and jerked him right out of the car and pulled his wife out too. When I got there, he was dead on the scene. His wife, I thought, was still breathing. She wasn't breathing. It was the baby turning over in her stomach. It was one of the most terrible things I'd ever seen in my whole life. I arrested that person for drunk driving, and I arrested a lot of people for drunk driving. And I'm offended that you would think that I would think that something like that's okay. I was there personally and watched it. I begged the people who were there taking care of her, trying to remove her. I said, take the baby. The baby's going to die. And you know what? The baby did die.
And so did Josephine's baby, and my baby almost.
And so I do understand, being a law enforcement officer, what happens with drug addiction, what happens with alcohol abuse. I understand that.
Then what are you trying to propose?
I'm not proposing anything. They, wait a minute, I'm not gonna argue with,
Okay.
I've got the floor right now. We're not proposing anything. They came to us and asked for the proper hearings, and they're getting that. And it's still going on. There's been no decision. There's nothing to vote on right now for us to vote on, because there's still negotiations going on. But I want you to pass this around to everybody to see. I'm sitting there holding the flashlight as they're trying to revive her. She died, the husband died, the baby died, and I arrested the drunk driver.
Thank you for doing that. but
Pass
you-
that,
you
pass-
know how
pass-
tragic it was.
That's right.
And we don't
And-
want
and-
that to
and
happen.
and my satire in this was that I understand your fears. Don't think that all of us don't understand your fears, but the fears are unfounded. There are more court cases coming from Northville area than there are in Plymouth.
Okay, all right,
So I want to tell you, we have
All right,
taken
both
other,
of you.
please
All right.
pass that around.
all right. We're
Pass that
talking
around.
about things, we're debating things that are not on the agenda, so, okay. Anybody else?
Want to see this? Can't see much. I guess we'll go this way.
Anna Steele. In light of the Elks Club being demolished this week, I just had a few questions.
Oh, you didn't want to look at it, Mr. Pine? Ms. Pine, you didn't want to look at it?
Wow, Jim.
All right.
Ms. Steele, please continue.
It's okay. The whole thing was rather disruptive, and we're never allowed to do that back and forth. But I guess
Well,
if you're
I
on the
broke it
board,
up.
you're allowed to, and it's really not okay.
Okay.
So a few simple questions regarding the new development.